What's up, everybody? It's your boy Big Meek coming at you today with Vapor Help and Reviews. Today we got the Kanger tank, the SubTank, I should say, review compared to the Atlantis. Right now, I've been using it for a couple days. Right now, I'm actually on the RBA build coil, as you can see. I'm going to be switching over to the regular coil here in a minute. I started out on the regular coil. I have some pros and cons about this tank overall. So I just wanted to show you real quick what type of cloud the RBA puts out. And then we'll talk more in detail about it here in a minute. So as you see, it's a pretty decent cloud. It has some pretty good flavor to it. Right now I'm vaping on Dripping Misfits Fog Fluid Balls Out. It actually tastes like Fruity Pebbles. It's some great juice, let me tell you. It's a 80-20 mix, 80 VG, 20 PG. And the flavor, I've been vaping it in the Atlantis as well as the Kanger SubTank. And we'll get into details in a minute, but that's the fog, the cloud that this RBA is actually putting out. It's decent. I just don't like the pull. It's not as airy as I like it, kind of like the Atlantis tank. So, yeah. It's a much tighter pull versus the Atlantis. Is really restricted, even compared to the regular coil pull. The airflow, it decreases it, which I don't like. Some people may like it, love it, but to each their own, right? But for me, my personal opinion, I just wish they would have made it more full throttle, kind of like the Atlantis tank. So what I'm going to do is disassemble this, take the two screws out here and here, pull this off, put this chimney back on so I can use my regular coil at a 0.5, and I'll get back with you here in a minute. Now, just to show you, this is what the RBA, the rebuildable part, looks like. It was initially, when it started, it was built at a 0.5, 0.4, 0.5 is what it was showing on my mod. But now it's actually reading about 0.7. I'm not sure why the resistance is jumping up. I don't know if it's burning or something shifted in there, but something happened and it drove the resistance up. So you take this little cap off here, just unscrews like so. And yeah, it looks like that there's something going on in here, which I'll totally disassemble it in a little bit and take a look and see what really happened here. But that's that. The RBA, it might be for you, it might not. If you want to rebuild them, cool. I personally, I don't like the restricted airflow that it provides, even with the 3 holes all the way open. It's just less than the actual coil, the pre-built coil itself. Why Kanger did that, who knows? I just kind of really wish that they would have made it a little bit more full throttle, because I really love that airy pull, kind of like that Atlantis has. And I'm not an Atlantis fanboy. I'm actually a Kanger guy, to be honest with you. But since this Atlantis tank came around, I really love it. But I'm going to be comparing the two overall and let you know what I think about both. So let me put the new coil back in and we'll get to rolling on the coil side. Alright, so I'm back. I got the tank with the regular coil in here. It's a 0.5 ohm. I've been vaping it at 25 watts. I've tried it on lower settings just to see how it does. It takes a while for it to get going. at the 20 watt, 15 watt range. So I've been running on 25. I'm actually going to compare this with the Atlantis on 25 and show you how it does and what I think about both. Then we'll talk about more details of what I like, what I don't like about the Kanger. So here we go. Give it a couple primes. Okay. So that hit right there, to be honest with you, it was getting a little bit burnt. I'm not sure why. So let me go ahead and turn it down to 20 and see what it does. So it puts out some decent clouds as well, the regular coil versus the RBA. Flavor-wise, I prefer the RBA. It just has much better flavor, and it seems to not give you that burnt cotton taste, dry hit, as much as the regular coil does. The reason for that, I'm not sure, but the RBA, it does have a little bit better flavor. The pull and the draw on the RBA is a lot harder compared to this regular coil. This has a more airy feel to it, which I prefer more air. So that's an advantage, disadvantage of the two. But flavor-wise, the RBA, hands down, with the organic cotton, it's really good flavor. Compared to the Atlantis flavor, the Atlantis is just a tad, I'm talking about a tad bit more muted versus the Kanger as far as flavor goes. Cloud production and just going all out chain vaping, I prefer the Atlantis. Chain vaping on the coil on this, for some reason, on this coil that I have in here, it starts to get dry hits and you kind of got to let it sit for a minute and prime it up again. So I'm not sure what all of that's about, but I'm going to use it for a little while, see how it does in the future. But right now, my first impressions on it is I still like my Atlantis. Be honest with you. Overall, I'm a Kanger guy. I've always supported Kanger products. This SubTank versus the Atlantis tank, I'm sorry, in my opinion, the Atlantis got it beat. So let's get into the more fine details of what I think's going on with this Kanger tank. Let me get another hit here. Yeah, and on the coil as well, when you put it on 20, it seems like the flavor gets muted out a lot more than on the 25. But on the 25, you start running into dry hits if you're chain vaping. Yeah, I just got a sort of a dry taste hit there on the 25. So these coils, I don't know what's going on with them, like I said, but on the RBA build, I can vape that sucker, at 30 all day, and it seems to be doing all right. But some other things I don't like about this Kanger, I don't know if you guys can see this. Yeah, you can see it. This drip tip wiggles a lot. I don't like that. That's not cool. It just really drives me crazy. Versus the Atlantis, which is solid. It's not moving at all. So this drip tip, it's not. I've even tried to adjust this rubber here, the seal. It doesn't fit right. I don't know why that is, but that kind of bugs me. But the airflow is decent. It's not as the Atlantis. You can't go full throttle on it like you can the Atlantis. But it's got decent airflow. So far, I'm not liking the regular coils, but that's just me, maybe. I don't know. Leave your comments below with your opinions and what you think about the Kanger coils in the SubTank. So, also, let me go ahead and take this off because I'm going to fill up my Atlantis and get the vaping on it. When I first put this all together, everything was good to go. It started leaking on me. And where it was leaking was around these air holes. And I mean, it was pouring out. I actually lost half of my premium Smacks fluid Sammy puffs because of it. And so I took it all apart again, took out the coil, looked at it, reseated the coil, and made sure all the gaskets was aligned again and put it back together. And it stopped leaking for now. But this tank is very temperamental. If you don't have everything exactly right, you might have a leak. So that I don't like about the Kanger. On the Atlantis, it's just fill it, you seal it, and you go. I haven't had any leaking problems whatsoever out of this. But this, yeah, you really got to be careful of what you're doing. If something's not lined up right, or if you got a gasket just tiny out of place, this thing starts leaking like a bad oil leak on your car. So that's all I have right now for this tank. I'm going to fill up the Atlantis and vape on it for a minute, show you what I think about it. Alright, so I'm back with the Atlantis tank. Got it filled up. Same fluid. Balls Out by Dripping Misfits. Tastes like Fruity Pebbles. Really good juice. I recommend anybody to try it. It's 80 VG, 20 PG. Good stuff, man. They also have another flavor called Hand Check, which I really like as well. So, here we go. Let me show you what this will put out. Also on 25 watts. So to me, the cloud production is still bigger than the Kanger. The Kanger does put out good clouds. I'm not going to knock it there. The flavor is a little bit better on the RBA side versus the coil side. Of the coils on the Kanger SubTank. Either way, the flavor is pretty decent. Unless you're having this coil issue. It may just be the coil. I'm going to switch it out later and try it. But to chain vape it, it just starts getting super hot. It has a really warm vape. And then it starts getting these dry hits, which everybody knows. Hey, dry hits is bad, man. I hate it. But it just starts tasting burnt with this coil that's in this tank. So RBA, not so much. I haven't had an issue really out of the RBA side. But the restricted airflow on the RBA on the SubTank, it's killing the vape experience for me personally. You might like it, you might not. I don't know. To each their own, like I said. But like I said, both tanks have their advantages. Both tanks have their disadvantages. Disadvantage about this tank is it's small, which we know they're coming out with a revamped tank. People's been up in arms about, oh, their coils are hazardous and blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I haven't had any issues with the coils, personally. I can chain vape this sucker chuck it up to 35 watts if I want, vape it, no problems. Even though that it's rated for 30, I can push these things to 35 on the Atlantis without any issue. So let me go ahead and crank this puppy up to 30, where I normally vape it at, and show you what type of output it does. Alright. So there we go. 30 watts. Let me go ahead and there you have it, folks. Great output. I love the airflow on this thing, man, because it's just full throttle. This has nice airflow with the coil in it, but like I said, I've been having some issues with the coil itself, tasting burnt. I may just have a shoddy coil in here, but overall, it's just, I can chain vape this, and so far I can't chain vape this. But the RBA side of it, I can chain vape it. And the flavor tastes fantastic. But the restricted airflow on the RBA side, that's the downfall in my opinion. Also, the airflow is decent on the coil, like I said on this one, but it's still not like this. That with the leaking issue that I had, how temperamental the tank is overall, and this drip tip is loose. I'm sorry, Kanger, but I like my Atlantis better, and I'm not a fanboy, whatever. I'm looking for the best vape experience. This is doing it for me. I'm still going to use this tank. I like Kanger. I was a prominent supporter of them from Kanger 1. Didn't care too much for the Kanger 2. I don't think anybody did. But then when they came out with that Aero series, the Kanger Aero, Mega, and the Mini, loved it. The best tank system that I ever had from Kanger was the Aero series. This is decent. I still think that there is work that needs to be done. So Kanger, if you watch this, listen to your customers, listen to your reviewers, and build off of it. You know, I like you guys, I like your product. But this tank just, it isn't doing it for me all the way. Now my daily vapor, I'm going to stick with this. I will switch them out from time to time. But this puppy right here, in my opinion, folks, is the winner. Man, that's some good fluid. Check them out. But that's all I got for this review. Oh, also in the Max VGs, I have some Sammy Puffs from Smacks. It's 90% VG. I ran it into Kanger a little bit, and it keeps up with it okay. Flavor's really good on it. And this tank, of course, it keeps up with it, no problems, on the Max VG line. So there you have it. That's my review. I think I've made it long enough. I'm pushing 20 minutes. So it's your boy, Big Meek. Vapor Helping Reviews. Like, subscribe, share. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter. We're floating all over social media. Also, we'll be looking at maybe a giveaway when we're pushing to 1,000 likes on our Facebook page. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, that's all I have on this review of the Kanger SubTank versus the Atlantis. I like them both, but this has some downfalls, which I hope Kanger fixes. But overall, they're both decent tanks. To each their own. This is my own. So, peace.